Well, well, well. I'm gone for at least about a month or two. And let's see. I thought, when a new government, I thought, okay, we have a new government. We're about to have a new president. Tom Brady's with the Buccaneers. They're a wild card. I mean, we have pretty much a college football playoff with some teams. I thought, things are going to change, right? Well, looks like here's more of the same. Alabama's won a national championship in basketball. Tom Brady's won another Super Bowl. And the Republican Party is still riding on Donald Trump's nutsack. I think I'm going to need a lot more alcohol the way this year is about to go. And I mean a lot of alcohol. Alright, what's up everybody? It is your host, Big J Money Baby. And we are live with a new edition of J Money Talks podcast. It's first podcast in probably, I say, couple months maybe. Let's see. Last episode was episode 19, and that was in, I believe, December. Let me take a gander here. Let's see. If I remember correctly, yeah, it was over 2 months ago, and that time was December 6th, 2020. My goodness. Man, it's been over 2 months. So, we got a lot to talk about, a lot of things to cover. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. So, let's see, what has happened between December 6th and now? Let's see. Well, let's see, we pretty much had to deal with election results being contested between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and pretty much Donald Trump suing very much any and every state that pretty much had questionable results and try to either overturn results or change it up. And every single state pretty much told him, yeah, we ain't changing shit, and Biden won. And Trump tried every way he can to change it up, even going so far to the Supreme Court to change the results of this election, and it failed. And even the Supreme Court, who pretty much had the majority, heck, even appointed someone just before the election began, get a super majority. And even then, they told him, nah, bro, we can't help you then. Man, even, like, some senators wanted to support helping them. Others are like, bro, you kind of lost. You might as well just give it up right now. Just give it up now. And some are moving on. Moved on. Yet others kind of just like, I kind of believe the president might have a point. Let's maybe look at this election stuff. Even then, they're like, no, you lost. And some of them eventually virtually certified this election. Like, to a lot of things, a lot of people started certifying this thing until the point where then both joint sessions of Congress had to come in. The only thing left that was, at this point, the Republicans have pretty much officially agreed, we lost presidency, we clearly don't have the House, all we got left is the Senate. Well, Georgia actually had 2 Senate runoffs on both their Senate seats. If the Democrats won both of them, they will have a majority, because despite they have 48 Democrats, and then there are 46 Democrats, and 2 independent senators who actually caucus with Democrats. So, technically, they have 48 compared to the Senate's 50. If both Democrats win the seats, they get the majority, because even though both Democrats and Republicans will have 50 each, they get the tiebreaker, which is the vice president. the vice president, who is going to be Kamala Harris. So America. So America's all eyes and American on pretty much the Senate focusing on this was on Georgia, because if Georgia somehow couldn't flip blue, then Mitch McConnell has pretty much still maintains his control of majority as majority of leader, meaning he can pass or he can bring up any bill he wants and pretty much hold off any bill and pretty much put many bills to the grave if he so chose to. Well, which pretty much is the eyes on Kentucky is why can't we vote him, and I pretty much explained this to you guys. I've explained this prior. Unless y'all bring businesses here or y'all motherfuckers move, then we can get rid of him. If y'all ain't going to do that, shut the fuck up. So that brings... So, yeah, pretty much. So that was my... So, on January the 5th, Georgia held their Senate runoffs. They were counting results. And two races that were in question is Senator Will Perdue was Senator Will Perdue going up against John Ossoff, who is of, I believe, of Jewish descent, who is Jewish. And then you have Senator Kelly Loeffler, I forget how you say your name, who is also co-owner of the Atlanta Dream, which is the WNBA franchise, a women's NBA franchise, who is going up against a reverend by the name of Joseph Warnock, black pastor, and lives in Atlanta. I believe lives in Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia. I'm not sure how this works. I forget. I don't know much about what is going on. I forgot what happened in Georgia. But basically, both of them were going up against pretty much every odds, because majority of Georgia is red, but have somehow started turning blue, because basically you got Atlanta, which is pretty much the black capital of America, and then you got the countryside. And a lot of people in the countryside was kind of tired of both these senators, and was kind of just wanting to remove Trump, was kind of getting tired of Trump complaining, especially since Georgia was red. It was a red state that suddenly got flipped blue in the presidential election, because Atlanta and mail-in ballots. So, a lot of the two senators in Georgia was kind of like, hey, Donald, listen, if you're going to do a speech, you're going to help us out, listen, you can't talk about the presidential election thing is all fraud, votes are fraudulent and all this shit, so you gotta chill. I'm gonna need a drink for this. Gonna need a drink for this, because what we're gonna talk about is pretty much all this stuff that pretty much Trump has done. So, well, Trump decided to make a speech in Georgia, and once again said that this voting is fraudulent. Pretty much called on the Georgia Secretary of State to try to overturn this election, say the vote was fraudulent, all this shit, do a recounting and all this. Heck, to the point where he actually made a phone call to the Georgia Secretary of State saying, oh, well, you say you found an extra 11,000 votes that went to me, and which got recorded and was leaked out by the New York Times, I think. And yeah, he was really actively trying to change the results of an election, of a presidential election, that he lost. So, that was something. And pretty much people voted, yeah, we're not giving Republicans, we're not giving Mitch McConnell the majority leadership role, and voted pretty much Democrat, and practically flipped two Senate seats that were held by Republicans, now are held by Democrats. And now Democratic Party has majority role of both the Senate, the House of Representatives, and the presidency. Pretty much two of the three branches of government. Except now, everything except the Supreme Court. So, now that's going on. Now that's what's happened. This happened on Tuesday 6th. Actually, both results came in by Wednesday morning, I believe. We're done by Wednesday morning. Both sentences were about to be flipped. And on that Wednesday, January the 6th, the American government, pretty much both houses of Congress, were pretty much planning on coming together to officially certify this election, give Joe Biden the presidency. Joe Biden is going to be the president of the United States. Well, Trump and his crew of people, he says, hey, on Wednesday, January 6th, which is pretty much this certification process, we need everybody on deck. We're going to have a huge rallying speech trying to tell the senators to pretty much rally the senators to tell everybody, hey, do not certify this election. Certify this election. This election was stolen, and all this stuff. Stop the count, stop the steal, all the BS. And pretty much there were some people who, and then, well, it brought in probably some of the dumbest and worst people, pretty much, that in this little rally speech gathering of all this stuff. And, well, Trump in regional, and he pretty much says, hey, they are trying to steal this election. We are not going to allow this. And Trump says, hey, let's go to the Capitol and let's tell them to not do it. Let's stop them ourselves and whatnot. Giuliani, pretty much the idiotic, pretty much former mayor of New York, and pretty much old man who pretty much is totally incompetent, super incompetent old man, pretty much even says, hey, let's have a trial by combat. And what do we see what happens next? A large group of protesters, others, then decide to be rioters and end up clashing with police, fighting through security, and all of a sudden, they end up taking over. They end up finding a way of breaking into the Capitol building during the time the certification of this election was in process, and pretty much broke through the entirety, broke through the camp. Pretty much, there were items stolen, many items stolen, many windows and doors broken into, offices were breaking into, stuff was destroyed. All the stuff that happened. Pretty much something that you never see, you would think could happen, actually happens. Usually stuff like this you would see on a movie, some of the stuff you would see on a TV show, some of the stuff you would never think it would ever happen in reality. Until this day. And I say, my thing about that whole Capitol riot thing, everyone complicit in this. Every single one of them should face jail time. And I think significant jail time. I don't think any of them should even walk the streets, because what they pretty much did was what a lot of people call it an insurrection. A coup. Attempted coup d'etat. Pretty much something that is constitutional, and try to stop a constitutional process from going down. And pretty much practically betraying the country. They are pretty much, the people who did this stuff are pretty much people who are traitors. And honestly, they deserve the punishment of traitors. Most of them, and I mean, I say majority of them, deserve pretty much death. Pretty much death. If not death, I say significant jail time. I say they should not have, any any of the rights they deserve, like pretty much them having a job, them having like a career, them having pretty much anything that a normal person should have. They should not have it at all to begin with, in my honest opinion. And there are people who are from, not just from, are from every state. There are people from every state that pretty much involved. Heck, there are people who did this in this state of Kentucky. Probably some people who live here in Louisville. And I honestly believe those people should not even have any career. I mean, yeah, there are certain things here in this world we will allow you to get away with. We can let slide. I mean, you can get a DUI. You can actually forget to pay some parking tickets. You know, you can pretty much, you know, we can forgive you for doing drugs. But no, you trying to literally start attempt a coup on our country. No, you should not have any rights to that. You should not have anything going right for you. You should be in jail. And you should be in jail. Point blank, period. So, after hours of pretty much a ton of idiots, and saying they're patriots, or saying they're actually just enthusiastic Americans, is an insult to the term patriot and an insult to the term enthusiastic Americans. No, they are all idiots and traitors. They are all traitors. After hours of pretty much laying siege to the Capitol, after finally getting actual the National Guard finally pull up to finally get these traitors out, and pretty much after getting out of hiding, the both House of Congress finally pretty much officially certified that election for Biden, and then pretty much decided work on making articles of impeachment on Trump. And this is actually the thing that started it. I believe should have happened, and deserved to have happened. And that is, Trump should have been impeached by the end of that day. There's no excuses for this. That he actually incited, probably an insurrection, pretty much decided, heck, I am going to literally do something that practically, we will go after foreign nations for something like hints of stuff like this. But when it comes to our territory, when it comes to us, we pretty much did the same thing that we pretty much would get on like Venezuela or North Korea and some of the countries that do some weird shit like this, that does something similar to this. But we aren't going to be on. But when Trump does it, we gotta look at it like, okay, well maybe he's upset, or he's like something, saying a lot of things. Okay, maybe, okay. This is one of the things about it, is a lot of Republicans decided, okay, look, Trump is just really wants to pretty much show that he has evidence, and he wants to prove that this election was completely fraudulent and all this stuff. Pretty much making excuses, and I'm like, bruh, can you make excuses? The man literally tried to kill you. Heck, he even tried to kill his vice president. Pretty much had his vice president dead to rights. Tried to get his vice president dead to rights. His running mate, person he works with, get him dead to rights. And what happened is, next day, a lot of his cabinet members, realized how crazy this man is, who pretty much tried to kill them, pretty much had to decide to resign because, bro, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this insanity. I can't. And they pretty much resign, and a lot of senators, despite the fact he did all this stuff, somehow wanted to defend him, and some of them actually were showing support of this whole insurrection or whatever, like Senators Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley, like literally, which is honestly the dumbest. My thing about Ted Cruz, he is the dumbest person, probably the dumbest senator. He is a fucking dumbass because here's the thing. This is a man who, in the 2016 Republican debate, when you guys were in primaries, this is a man who practically talked shit about your wife in front of you, and you decided not to say a thing about it. You didn't say a thing about it. At that point, listen, if a man will talk shit about your wife, listen, they're off-limit things. That is family, and your loved ones, and your children. If he's going to talk shit about your wife on national television, mind you, in front of the nation, instead of saying, you know what, I was going to say something to pretty much as a rebuttal, instead, here's my rebuttal, run up to this motherfucker and try to run a fade on him. No, he decides to do nothing. And that's what's funny thing about it. But when it comes to this man, when he became president, you decided to be his right-hand man. You decided to be a simp for this man. For reasons I don't even know. This man be simping for this motherfucker who talks shit about his wife. Like, literally, this is how he is. I don't know if that's really him, or if that's some fake version of him. But, bruh, if that's my wife, this motherfucker getting the fade. He's getting the bars. He's gonna feel every piece of my rage. And you ain't gonna do a dang thing about it. I mean, that's what. So, the House decides to impeach this man. Decided to impeach him. The House decided to impeach him. Voted, saying what he did is wrong. He tried to literally start a coup to stop an election that was never fraudulent and try to get him out. And they did this on, I think, they got it, made the articles, and got it passed within like 3 days, I think. 3 or 4 days. And this is something, and then it comes to the Senate. They try to pass it to the Senate, but instead, Senate decided to, well, we're not going to do any official business. We're not going to do any of this until after Joe Biden gets inaugurated, which is like another week and a half or two. They decided to wait until, you know what, we're going to wait until Trump is literally out of office. Basically like, okay, there's probably no way he's going to do anything stupid until that point. Right? Till that point. I mean, now does Trump actually like say, well, that was okay, this little insurrection is kind of, I'm not gonna say it's my fault. I think there are people who in that whole situation probably took things too far. And you know what? Just to amuse everybody here, I will accept the fact that I will not say I will accept defeat, but I will concede this whole like pursuit of this election, and I'll help Joe Biden in any way I can to be president, which is the closest thing to a concession speech. And here's the thing, technically he concedes the election to Biden, but instead of like the usual idea of like how the inauguration goes, a big portion of it is congratulations on you defeated me in this election. The American people want you to be the leader. Here you go. Here's here's a little note. Here's here's my, like, give you the desk. Good luck, Chief. I wish you the best. Nope, he decides not even to attend the inauguration. He just leaves. He goes back to Florida and pretends like, and just leaves to go to Florida. Doesn't even give a like a concession speech. Doesn't even give a a real farewell speech to Biden. Doesn't even shake hands with Biden. None of that. It's like, I'm out. See ya. See ya. Peace. Peace out, America. And he's planning on running again in 2024 because he felt like, oh, I got robbed. I'm gonna run it back, and this time I'm gonna get I'm gonna get a second term again. Despite the fact. Well, now you're wondering, like, okay, he's out of office. What's the point of his impeachment? The big thing is, if he is convicted, he cannot run in 2024. He is disqualified from any election. And Mitch McConnell, despite the fact now he's no longer majority leader, yet he kind of acts like he is still, despite the fact he doesn't have that power. He says himself, honestly, impeachment seems actually is a good idea. In all honesty, I think this whole situation involving Trump he should have been gone. Honestly, he should not be a part of this Republican Party, which is entirely true, because the way how this Republican Party has changed over the years is not the Republican Party that Bush and probably people like Nixon and various others, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush, and W. Bush were a part of years ago, and many others, and knew this is something that is wrong. Even there are senators and Republican senators and representatives who feel the same way and realize this man needs to go, and voted to impeach him, and voted to impeach and the Senate did have a case. They pushed this thing back, held this back for a while, just for enough time for Trump to build some type of a defense for his actions, and his defense team can build some defense, and we end up getting an actual trial. We finally have a trial. And one of the first things they decided to do beforehand was, is this actually constitutional? Because, hey, he's gone. He's no longer in office. We should have maybe we shouldn't have this case. And, well, alright. Well, actually, it is, because he planned on running back in 2024. We gotta let him know, like, hey, you try to pretty much destroy the goddamn country, pretty much start a civil war, you don't deserve any chance of running. And basically a lot of people voted, pretty much a lot of GOP senators, including Rand Paul, who is probably the second most hated person to have lived in Kentucky outside of Katina Powell. Katina Powell. He decides, hey, this is unconstitutional, and it's pretty much trying to at least say none of this should happen. And he is somehow, and my thing about Rand Paul is, this man is literally the dumbest person ever, and I don't know, and I know what you're all gonna say. How did you guys vote for this man? I don't fucking know. I'm hoping that next year we can get him out of here. I'm hoping we get him out of here. I'm praying we can get rid of him, because the man needs to fucking go. But I digress. He's pretty much one of the many senators with Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, and a bunch of others who's pretty much just who very much throughout that entire trial, for the entirety of these trials, pretty much were not even focused on the trials at all. Some of them even didn't even like stay watching this. Some of them were like on their phones. Some of them were on their phones. Some of them were doing stuff like they were literally just pretty much being like this. Like, really? This is a serious trial. This is an impeachment trial. This is a constitutional process. Heck, some of them even, like, pretty much didn't even try showing up to this whole thing. To the sea. Which is ridiculous because you are one of the 100 jurors of this fucking trial. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? You are going to not do your job as a senator and work on even make a chance to even listen to either the prosecution or the fucking defense to try to get this man out, decide if this guy should be gone or not. How does this happen? What happens? Well, they actually have the House impeachment managers. They gave their case, strong case, pretty much. Even Republican congressmen pretty much told men and women, pretty much told their Republican colleagues in the Senate, hey, this man needs to go. He is fucking up the party. You really going to let this man, who is pretty much has the influence of this very vocal minority, take over our goddamn party and ruin the country, ruin this party more and more, pretty much practically ostracizing them, which I say probably ostracizing them, and pretty much and he's probably going to try making his own fucking party. Who knows, probably makes his own party just to run again. Are you really, and I mean really, going to do something to stop this? Are you really going to just let him walk free from this situation, from something that he really created, and with his rhetoric and voice in many speeches, this is something that he actually planned for months and upon months, for probably years, that he was probably going to do some shit like this, and you're going to let him get off on this scot-free. And then, after a few days of his trial, after a few days of hearing multiple defenses, watching multiple videos of riots in many angles, ways, shapes, and form, after hearing everything, after all the evidence, not many witnesses, sadly, even though they actually should have called upon witnesses, people who actually decided to do something about it. They actually had a moment to recognize the officer who actually tried to do their fucking job, and actually tell all these fucking idiot traitors, hey, you ain't supposed to be here, get the fuck out. And he was hit with pretty much most of these traitors are also probably racist, pretty much was calling him the N-word multiple times. And he is a member of law enforcement. And there was a thing about Rand Paul when they were acknowledging, they didn't even give a fuck. They looked like they didn't even really give a fuck much about this man. So if you're thinking I'm gonna say, and then on Saturday, they actually eventually have a vote. And the end result was pretty much this: 57 senators voted guilty on Donald Trump. It's like all 50 Democratic senators, and then seven senators said, nah, said this man's guilty, and are willing to risk pretty much their part of their political career in this party to convict this man. 43 senators pleaded not guilty. Among them was, of course, Rand Paul. Of course, Lindsey Graham was among them. Ted Cruz, Josh Hawley, and then even Mitch McConnell voted to acquit this man, despite the fact he said that morally, Donald Trump is responsible for creating that insurrection, and he somehow decided to vote to acquit him. What? So you're saying this man is guilty, but you decided to say not guilty? My thought process yesterday when I saw that Senate voted to acquit this man, I just said, America is so fucked. The legal justice system is bullshit. The entire Republican Party are goddamn pussies. Are really pussies. Legitimately grown old pussies. Because that's what the GOP party stands for. The generally old pussies. Because these motherfuckers are so pussy, they know this man is guilty and decided, nah, we're going to acquit this man. Despite the fact there is multiple things of evidence, especially in his speech, his rhetoric, everything that this man has said and done for months upon months upon months in the tweets, everything, you're still going to quit this man. Really? By the way, fun fact, there was a few senators in the Republican Party who voted, actually spoke to Trump's defense lawyers. Here's the thing. In a general court case, no juror is allowed to speak to any attorney. There are district attorneys, public defenders, district attorneys. There have been multiple defense attorneys. All of them said, I can't speak to the juror, any juror. Even if it's a nice, light-hearted conversation. Even if they're my friend, if it's a family member, hell, if it's my goddamn husband, even if it's my wife, I can't talk to her if she's a juror. But these motherfuckers actually can. Some of these motherfuckers, including Rand Paul, I think Ted Cruz, and a couple others. My thing is this: if the 7 senators who actually voted guilty on Trump, at this point, you need to just leave the Republican Party entirely. I'm not saying you gotta vote. I'm not saying you gotta you gotta go from Republican to Democrat. I'm not saying you have to do that. No, you don't have to do that. You can be a third party. I say at this point, you might as well be independent at this point. And caucus with the Democrats at this point. And caucus with Democrats. That is probably the only case you can do here. Anybody who is a member of the Republican Party right now, just jump out, get off. At this point, you need to start being, I don't know what you should be. Find a third party. Heck, just be a libertarian. I'm assuming that's closest name to Republicans I can think of is libertarians. Because y'all are kind of, you guys love or go gun ho about guns. I think some of y'all are pretty much like, don't want a lot of government deregulation and some of the stuff you're about. So y'all can work perfectly with that. I don't know what you need to do. My thing is this. The Republican Party is compromised as a motherfucker. Because even when these Republicans pretty much did the right thing, among them, Senator Liz Cheney, who is the daughter of Dick Cheney, like the GOP in Wyoming, like decided to censure her. I don't know much about censure, but they like censure her for her pleading, pretty much voting to impeach Trump. And a few others pretty much were censured and pretty much they kind of just basically, I don't know much of what censure is, but it's basically the Republican form of deplatforming them. Pretty much whatever money they get, we're just like, yeah, you ain't getting no funding from us. We ain't helping you out with any of your super PACs, any like the connections to help you get back in power. You ain't got it no more, fam. And that's the thing. It's so weird to me. I don't even know what you do in this one. At this point, like, if this man is going to run, if Donald Trump is going to run in 2024, he could win that. He could win running back. He's going right back, and we could have the same man again. Whatever Biden tried to do, he's going to win. Whatever Biden tries to do to change all the fuck shit Trump has done in 4 years time frame, by the time we get back to Trump, by the time we get to 2024, Trump could change is going to revert all that back and make it 10 times different. Heck, he might do some shits in that Constitution where he might make himself president forever. President forever. Heck, make his children president. Make his wife president. Make his youngest son, Barron, president. And he could be, by the time he's 18, who knows what the fuck this man could do in 2024 if he decides to get re-elects, if we all decide to re-elect, if he gets elected again in 2024, runs again in 2024, he actually gets elected, and who knows what he can do when he's in power by that time frame. And this is something that is questionable. But one of the things I question, like a son bitch, is after that whole debacle, pretty much the Senate is on recess right now, after this. And there's the Democrat, after all that, after this man gets acquitted, the first thing you think of, instead of, passing the coronavirus relief bill, and of trying to get this coronavirus relief bill passed, trying to get us all $1,400 stimulus checks, $2,000 stimulus checks, or whatever stimulus checks you want to give us, and all this stuff for small business, canceling some student debt for people, and all this shiz. You guys decide, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna take a vacation for a week or two, and then we'll come back to it. Motherfucker, by the time you come back a week or two, who knows, motherfuckers probably losing their houses and shit. Losing their houses, losing their jobs, losing their businesses. Motherfucker, you need to come, y'all, you can take a break, if you want to take Monday off, Tuesday off, bet, but you better be back by Wednesday or Thursday, motherfuckers, to get this shit done, and try to at least do something to fix some shit. Like, really? And you guys have a majority. And you guys can make shit happen. But you all are so goddamn pussy. Like, you think Mitch McConnell is still in charge of this bitch. Like, really? My thing is, as like a lot of people say, that Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, and some of these people should be gone. I agree entirely. I agree. I'm definitely sure next year. I'm hoping Rand Paul is out because I think he's going to be gone soon. Because I say this, you can say that Rand Paul has a lot of control. I think Rand Paul is going to go. I think he has the power to go. I think this man should go. He should be gone wholeheartedly, 110%. And that's a fact. I mean, if we can't, now, if you want to make sure this guy is gone by next year, well, my advice to you guys is simply put this. Again, if you got a business and you're trying to expand it, maybe trying to expand this or move it, or move your business, move it to here. If you're trying to build like a t-shirt, if you're a t-shirt company or shoe company or clothing company or whatever, if you want to build you need a place to build a new factory, bring that bitch here to Kentucky. If you need a place to move you, here's an idea. Move here to Kentucky. And I'm not talking about Louisville or Lexington. Lexington you might move. Hell, if you want to move to Lexington, go ahead. I mean, be my guess. I mean, that place needs to be changed. Bowling Green is a great place. Frankfurt. Heck, there's some places in Oldham County, places in Bullitt County, Shelby County. I mean, there's some great places you can move to, and it'll work right. You can fill it right in. I mean, there are places in this day that pretty much they need some help. That are pretty much a ton of space, and is really willing to move. All you gotta do is just goddamn grow a damn set and move there. All you gotta do is, simply put, fortify your damn selves, move here. If you want this man gone, you want Rand Paul gone, you want some of these congressmen that is in, some of these representatives that are in our state to go, and all this stuff like Thomas Massey and like some of these other idiots, here's the thought. You move here, and or move your business here, then you probably, then, and only then, you might be able to remove that son bitch that man out of office, man or woman out of office. But until then, if you choose not to, then here's an idea. You can all hold my nuggets and suck my dick. Alright? Until then, shut the fuck up about Kentucky and leave us out of this. Leave all of us out of this. Some of us have been tired of dealing with this for years. We've all tried voting for this man. It's just we cannot convince the rest of the fucking state to do so. To vote this motherfucker out. Some do, but we can't. So, that's all I'm going to say about this whole thing about the government. My thing is this. The entire government is pretty much bullshit. All of them can suck a dick. And I mean all of them. Now then, I'm going to go ahead and take a break. I'm going to go ahead and finish this drink up right now. I'm going to take a quick break. I'm probably going to fix me up something to eat real quick. And when we come back, we're going to do a full debriefing on the NFL season. We're going to look into college basketball, especially regards of a certain team that lives in a state that's having probably a tough time right now. And I think we all know who. And we're probably going to talk about a few other things going into this year. And do a few other things this year. So, you're watching episode 20 of the J Money Talks podcast, everybody. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. What's up, everybody? And before we get into the next segment of our podcast, I want to talk to you all about Just Saying Gear. And let me tell you something. I just got this recently. I mentioned it in probably episode 19, the last episode, that I bought these things, and it's going to be coming very, very soon. It did come in around in January last month. Didn't get a chance to at least show it off a bit. But I actually, while I'm here, I might as well give you a little how I feel about this. Let me say, it came out amazingly. What I got here on the top, this top here, is Vegeta's Super Saiyan armor when he was in the Android / Cell saga. And bottom, I got down here below, is the apologies. Bottom, I got here these are Vegeta's Super Saiyan 2, Majin Vegeta, Super Saiyan 2 Majin Vegeta pants, joggers. Super Saiyan 2 Majin Vegeta joggers. I love these. They feel good. Big thing about this is it feels like a second skin. So when you move, it fits really well with you. You move, the suit moves with you. It feels like a second skin. It's tight around you. It fits perfectly. It fits snug, and it works accordingly. And it's like adjusts accordingly to it, and it's amazing. It feels amazing. I feel great. It promotes a lot of things. Just Saying Gear makes a ton of fitness gear like this, and it's not just, and they don't do just Dragon Ball characters. No. That just like name it tells. It also does Naruto fitness gear. It also does My Hero Academia fitness gear. It does Attack on Titan fitness gear. It does a variety of anime based fitness themed gear, and it does wonders. And it doesn't just do it for men. No. It doesn't do it also does wonders does fitness gear for children and for the ladies as well. And let me say, I have seen some ladies in some of their gear, and let me just say, I'm in the words of great Spike Spiegel, I love me a woman who can kick my ass. And there's some facts. So, if you guys want to get some great gear yourselves, go to justsayin.com and use this promo code, which I have for you. It actually helps me out, supports me and the channel as well, because I will be buying more of the products. And it's to say this is a win-win for both of us. Just go use the promo code GREGI003CK. That is GREGI003CK. Go get you some gear today, especially by the time quarantine comes out of here. I know this. We want to come out of this looking like our favorite anime characters. None of us want to come out looking like Majin Buu. Some of us probably want to come out of this thing looking like god dang Broly out here. So I'll get you guys some gear right now. Just Saying Gear. They'll make you super. I'm just saying. Alright, let's get back to this video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back with episode number 20 of the J Money Talks podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud. It's episode 20. So, let's begin with some college. Let's look at college football week. It has ended over a month now. It's been over a month. It's actually over. It ended, sadly. I thought something would look different. My expectations was, looking at that schedule last year, I was thinking to myself, Louisville's going to come in, win it all. With the fact that Louisville doesn't have to play Clemson this year, I thought Louisville would run the gauntlet. They lose Notre Dame, but Notre Dame would find a way to lose a game or two, and we would end up we would go up against Clemson, shock them, beat them, get in the national college football playoff. We end up shocking the nation, beating like teams like Alabama, Ohio State, let them know, hey, Louisville's the team in the college football champions. And Louisville went 4-7. 4-7, 3-7 overall, 3-7 in conference play, 4-7 overall. But they ended the season on a high note. So I'm thinking, okay, college football national champions. I'm like, okay, probably we're going to have Clemson again. And I'm like, well, Clemson's probably going to win this thing. And I'm thinking Clemson's got a chance. Nope. Instead, they got a rematch against Ohio State from last year, and let's say last year Ohio State remembered and they didn't forget, and they ended up beating them, and then going to the national. They end up going to the national championship, despite the fact Ohio State didn't only played 5 games prior and won the net and didn't really have a chance. Only played 5 games, and they got had a change of, and then the Big Ten pretty much changed their policy of who gets in their conference championship to allow Ohio State in, and a bunch of shiz. So yeah, that is pretty much the case. That is the case, and Louisville is now and Ohio State got in, despite the fact Indiana pretty much beat, almost actually played their games and actually had a good record, like 6-1. So yeah, Kentucky, despite season wasn't the best, but somehow, some way, they end up winning. They end up playing a bowl game. And they won, which I'm like, why the fuck? And let's see, what else do we have here? What else can we say here? Yeah, by winning the Gator Bowl over NC State. Indiana played in a bowl game, sadly lost to Ole Miss to end their season. Louisville decided to opt out of a bowl game for reasons. And of course, my thing about, the NCAA football season culminated in Alabama winning the national championship again. Son of a bitch. Winning the national championship. Fuck my life. Which I really do not like whatsoever. I wish, honestly, it was someone else to be the national championship. But we got more of the same. More things changed. More that the world changed. More this, it stayed the same. More, it stayed the same. So, that is pretty much the case here. That is sadly the case. Anyways, moving on. We actually now that college football season is over with, now they actually release schedules probably earlier than normal. I think earlier than normal. But Louisville's schedule is a pretty interesting one. They start the season off going up against Ole Miss and Atlanta to start the season, and at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta on September 6th. Then they host Eastern Kentucky and Central Florida, which is a big game in Central Florida. Before they go up against Florida State, go into a conference schedule. They first starting off against Florida State, then they go into Tallahassee, take on Florida State. Then they go up against the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. Then they come back home for two straight games between Virginia and Boston College. Then they travel to Raleigh to take on NC State. And then the next week they have the big game between Clemson and Clemson, which is on November 6th, aka this guy's 25th birthday. So I don't know if we'll have fans, but if we do, and if tailgates are allowed, I think I'm going to host the tailgates at the stadium, and that'll be probably part 1 of my birthday party. So, of my birthday party. Next week, then a week afterwards, Louisville takes on Syracuse. Before going up against Duke to close out their ACC schedule. And then Louisville ends their season coming home to take on the Kentucky Wildcats and bringing back the Governor's Cup game, which we sadly didn't get last year because Kentucky and Louisville couldn't agree on if if the season's happening, and SEC decided to have a conference only schedule, and so did the ACC. So that wasn't happening anytime soon. So, well, that sucks for both U of L, U of L, and UK. So, that is unfortunate. So, that was college football in a nutshell. My thing is, I say this: Indiana pretty much, honestly, Indiana deserves a spot should have gotten a chance to play in the Big Ten Conference Championship game. They played majority of games. I get it. Ohio State beat them. True. But they played majority of games. Ohio State played 5. Indiana played 7. Ohio State played 5. I don't know about y'all, but I think the team that played more games should have made a spot in the championship game, in the Big Ten championship game, and they didn't. Ohio State won that game. They got in the playoff, despite the fact that a team like Cincinnati, a team who had actually played through a good season, ended up being undefeated, winning their conference championship. Should have had a chance at being in the playoff, and didn't even get, and they still allow Ohio State in. And I say this, I'm hoping next year the NCAA decides, you know what, we're going to expand this playoff game. I don't know how many, I say 16. I say 16 should be it. I think every conference champion gets a spot in. The rest are determined by ranking. Basically. It gives every Power 5 conference champion, every group of 6 champion a shot, and the rest is determined by rankings. And then every team is determined by rankings. Whether it be multiple SEC schools, whether it be multiple ACC schools, whether it be multiple schools from a big Power 5 conference, yes, but it gives every school a chance. I think it gives every conference at least have one representative in, instead of having just whoever plus Notre Dame or some bullshit. I think it helps everyone out. I think it makes sense. Especially they should have, if they were going to experiment it, they should have done it this year. Especially considering the fact we all had a pandemic. There were multiple teams that were opting out. Multiple teams couldn't even have games and all that shiz. I don't know why they couldn't have done it this time frame. They couldn't have made something like that happen. Especially teams like Coastal Carolina, teams like BYU, teams like Indiana, and many others that pretty much stepped up and pretty much played an absolute pretty much played games, played their hearts out. They aren't getting any rewards for it. It's a shame. I think it's a shame. And before anyone thinks like, oh well, these schools should play bigger teams. Well, they can. They should. But are these big Power 5 schools going to make those games happen? Probably not. They're going to wait till years until like that, where these teams have like a window of either have a different coach go to a bigger school, which could happen, or pretty much their recruits their recruiting window goes down or some whatever. I don't know, but to me, these schools should have a chance to play and should have a shot at the playoffs just as much as these Power 5 schools, especially these blue bloods like Oklahoma and Texas and all these other schools. And it's a shame that they don't do anything like that. So, that's my thoughts about college football. Now we're going to transition from college football to college basketball. And let's just say it's Kentucky. Let's see, all the schools in Kentucky. See, all the Kentucky schools. Let's see what we got. Let's start with U of L. U of L right now is far. let's start with U of L. Let's start with look at U of L standings right now. They are currently 11-4 right now, and 6-3 in conference play right now. Not bad. They actually sadly had COVID. Coach Chris Mack actually tested positive for COVID-19. Their season was postponed for a couple weeks. Hopefully everything's go back. Let's look at Western Kentucky right now. Western Kentucky is 15-4 and leads the Conference USA Eastern Division with an 8-2 record, which is actually not bad. Let's look at other Kentucky schools here. Let's see other Kentucky schools here. Okay, Northern Kentucky. Let's see. They are currently 12-9 overall with a 10-6 conference record. They are currently third in the Horizon League right now. Then let's go to Eastern Kentucky. Right now, they are currently third place in the Ohio Valley Conference with a 16-5 record overall and a 10-4 conference record right now. Then you got Morehead State, also in the Ohio Valley Conference, who is second with a 16-7 overall record and a 13-3 conference record. Then you also have Murray State, who has an 11-9 record and with an 8-7 record in conference play. Who is currently sixth in the conference right now. So not bad. The Kentucky teams are actually doing not bad right now. Doing pretty good right now. Pretty well for ourselves. Then we got Bellarmine, who is actually in their first season of Division I college play right now. Currently is 13-5 with a 10-2 record in the Atlantic Sun Conference, and they're ranked first in the conference right now, which is actually not bad. Which is not bad for their first year as a team right now in their first year, and it is pretty good. Now let's look at Kentucky's record. Let's look at Kentucky's record, and they are currently. Oh my God! What the hell just going on here? Kentucky is 6-13 with a 5-7 record. What the fuck is this shit? Let's see what happened. Okay, let's see. Kentucky starts the season off with a 81-45 record. They're ranked 10th in the nation. Next game, they lose to Richmond. A team in the Atlantics, who I believe is in the Atlantic 10 Conference. It was currently 10-4 with a 4-2 record right now. Oh my goodness. And I mean, okay, it's the first loss. They end up having a game get canceled against Detroit Mercy. So can't beat that. That's not that bad, right? Well, let's see. They ended up going to Kansas with a 1-1 record. Go up to top against 7th ranked Kansas in the Champions Classic. In Indianapolis. And Kentucky was actually pretty good. I think Kentucky had a good lead. I think in that game they were actually doing pretty good. They actually had the lead for a good chunk of this game, and it was a game that was going to be one of the season's biggest showcase games, which was a game which had sloppy play, so many turnovers, missed shots, blown opportunities, and so much stuff. And oh my goodness, this team could not play basketball. Kansas shot 30% from the field, missed 4 free throws during one stretch in the final minute. Kentucky shot 36% and had a early double-digit lead, blew that, and then gave away a 35-29 halftime edge. My goodness. Kentucky just couldn't. Kentucky actually had a chance to get back on track. It looked like for the first half, they eventually just blew it. Man, let's see. Next, you got Georgia Tech. They go up against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech in Atlanta, which is actually a... And you guys even lose to them, which loses to them. Man. Then you go back home and you lose to the Irish, to Fighting Irish at Rupp Arena. And you guys were favored by 7 points. My goodness. Then you guys had to play against North Carolina. And you had a double-digit lead on them. And you blew that lead and lost that game in Cleveland. And lose that game by double digits. So you had a game against South Carolina got postponed later on. Now, by the terms of all these games, that is a footnote to y'all. But let's be honest, to Kentucky fans, that is pretty much nothing more but a footnote to y'all. Because we all know, in all the non-conference games you have, one game matters the most. Is that U of L UK game, the Battle of the Bluegrass. It was held in Louisville. To us, it doesn't matter how bad your season was. If y'all lose, if you beat Louisville, it is y'all version of winning practically the national championship in and of itself. Because no matter how bad you guys' record were coming into it, if you leave with that W, it is going to be that loss. That is the bragging rights. That is that you get that bragging rights. You can just say, yeah, you can talk shit all you want about how bad it is, but Kentucky still beat y'all. Big Blue Nation needed that to win, but sadly, they end up dropping. They end up losing it. As Louisville had pretty much sealed it by going into the free-throw line. On that free-throw line, you had a chance to get a wide-open free with a second left to at least get the win. But it sadly ended. Sadly, it dropped and missed. And you guys end up losing 6 straight games, which is the first 6-game losing streak since 1989. Man, I wonder what happened in 1989. Something about that time frame. What happened in 1989? My goodness. Let's see. Kentucky, 1989. Men's basketball, 1989. 9 season. What was about that time frame? Okay, Kentucky head coach was Rick Pitino. First season. His very first season. But there was something about that date that was important. What was it? Oh yeah, I forgot. You guys were on probation. I think you guys... Oh yeah. You guys were actually on probation. That was a time when you guys were put on probation. On probation. 3 years probation. And was banned from postseason play for 2 years. Well, unfortunately for you guys, there's no probation. There was no probation. This is a team that was full of freshmen, sophomores. So when you're thinking, okay, well, how does Kentucky bounce back in conference play? Well, they can bounce back in conference play, right? Well, it looks like you guys were doing pretty good in conference play. You guys beat a Mississippi State team in double overtime. Thanks to your best player with Deontay Allen scoring 23 points and scoring 7 threes, despite the fact that a player that you guys pretty much haven't seen in a while. End up playing a game and end up winning in double overtime in Starksville. Then you win your second straight by beating a Vanderbilt squad. Beating Vanderbilt, which is not much saying there. Then you end up winning in a big 20. You end up winning in a better. Then you end up winning against Florida, beating them 76-58. 58. And then came Alabama, who decided to come into Rupp Arena and just straight up molly-whopped y'all back and forth in that game. And it was like, oh, you guys won 3 straight. Okay, I don't know what happened. Okay, here we go. Someone must have turned off the choke button. Hold on a second. And we get Alabama blowing out Kentucky. There we go. And then you guys lose to Auburn in a come-from-behind game. In a come-from-behind loss to Auburn. My goodness. And you had a chance, and you guys lost this in a week. Lost this in you were blowing a huge lead. My goodness. I feel bad. This is bad. And this is actually the first. This is actually the first time Auburn beat Kentucky in 4 straight seasons since 1989 and 1970. Man, and I feel bad. Then you lose to Georgia on the last second at Athens. My goodness, on a last second loss. Man, this is bad. But you bounced back 3 days later on a W against LSU. And then you had Alabama, who was a top 10 team, and you got molly-whopped again. This time you took the ass woman to brought that ass woman to Tuscaloosa. And then, so this point in time, you guys at that point in time are 5-10. You guys are no longer in the top 25. It looks like you guys are about to get your asses. Looks like you're about to host Texas in a Big 12 SEC Challenge game. And it looked like this point, Texas is about to come in and give you a Texas ass pounding so hard at Brackley. It was so bad that Alexis Texas and probably many other porn stars probably are jealous, and also probably would have been endless make material for the SEC and Louisville fans as well on the OG Pornhub until that shit went downhill. But you guys got canceled because you guys had some positive tests. Had positive tests in your program, which I think might have been ridiculous because this is a game that was going to be on primetime television on ESPN. And let's be honest, I think y'all made that up just to not watch that pounding happen. Which, hey, we understand completely. I understand completely. I wouldn't want to get my shit caved in front of the entire nation either. So, let's see. You guys go up against Kentucky. Go up against Missouri. You guys were behind a ton by 13 at the half. You end up going on a 15-3 run to start the half and cut the lead to 1. But, man, you just could not score a bucket to get back that lead. And you couldn't rally anymore, man. You had a chance of taking on a top 25 team and pretty much get everything back up, get everything together, get yourself together. And now you're at 4-5. The first time you have a conference losing record since February 2018. Man. My goodness. Then you lose an 8-game. Then you lose to Arkansas by 1 point. My goodness. on a 1-point aim. For the first time that Arkansas beat you in 8 games. And now we come to you guys snapping that 4-game losing streak by winning against Auburn by 1 simple basket. So what can we say now? Pretty much bringing us now. This is the season record we are at now, 6-13, and all I'm going to say is, wow, just wow, Kentucky. That is honestly pathetic. I thought you guys would have. I knew you guys would struggle a little bit, considering the fact this is a freshman team. You guys got a couple of graduate transfers. This is a season. I'm like thinking to myself, when I find myself non-conference wise, okay, it's kind of bad right now, non-conference wise. But I'm thinking by the time conference play comes around, they're gonna come in gonna be like LeBron in Game 6, locked in. Just have that locked in mentality. But man. Even then, I'm just like, that is embarrassing. That is just sadly embarrassing for all of you guys right now. Because it's coming from a Louisville fan, I am a Louisville fan, but man, I feel bad for you guys. I feel bad for Kentucky fans. Because y'all guys are watching a team just be this bad. And especially this time of the pandemic, there's very limited seating and all the things going on. I just know some of y'all are probably going through it right now. My thing is, simply put, if I have any advice for you guys on how the season is and how I think this season is going to look going forward, I don't think you guys are winning the SEC tournament. So, sadly, if you guys are thinking you got a chance at winning the SEC tournament and getting in, I highly doubt that. I highly doubt you're winning that SEC tournament. Especially got teams like Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri, and a few other teams that were probably hungry. I don't think you're going to buckle down and win that tournament and get that automatic bid. So I don't think you're definitely not going to the tournament, hands down. Heck, I don't even think you guys are even going to be in the NIT the way y'all are playing. So if I have any advice to you guys, it's simple. The solution simple. Just write it off. That's what my dad tells me every time, especially when it's football season. Especially since I couldn't go to any games or anything, or go to any games and do some of the things I was planning on doing for football season. Pretty much my dad kept telling me, just write it off. That's my advice to y'all, just write it off. Just make up something that pretty much to write off the season. Say whatever. Say that the NCAA actually found like that hidden barn where you guys hide all your money and hide the underground strip club you guys have over there. Write it off. Say that you guys were caught in an academic scandal. Make up any excuses just to prove that, A, we didn't have a basketball season at all. But you guys can't say anything about us beating you. I'm just saying, the fact that we are in a year where pretty much a team that where you guys beat Morehead State, who is actually right now second in their own conference, has pretty much a good chance of making the tournament without winning the tournament, their conference tournament as a low seed. Eastern Kentucky, who has a good chance of making it into the tournament with or without winning their tournament as well. Murray State, who could probably make it in there with or without winning the tournament. You got a team like Western Kentucky, who's pretty much right now the best team, probably the best team in Conference USA right now. You got Louisville, who's probably definitely getting in because they are looking amazing right now. And then you got Bellarmine, who is in their first season of Division One play, is doing better than you. Man, I am just saying right now is Kentucky. As someone who supports every team in this state, every school in this state. Considering I am, of course, I am a Louisville fan, but I do support. I have friends and family who are Kentucky fans. I went to Western Kentucky University. So I support Western Kentucky. Go Hilltoppers. I support Eastern Kentucky because I have family who has graduates from that school. I have friends who went to Morehead State. I have friends who went to Murray State. I have friends. I'm probably sure I support Bellarmine because they also are school here in the state, but also because of Coach Davenport, who was a coach of Ballard's high school basketball team, who also led them to a state championship. So there is a lot of to a state championship. So I support all of the schools here, but the Louisville fan in me, I enjoying this a lot. And all I'm gonna say is, all that grandstanding. All I'm gonna say is this: just remember, John Wall ain't coming through that tunnel anytime soon. DeMarcus Cousins ain't going through that tunnel as well. Certainly Anthony Davis, not him. And certainly not some of the players in the past ain't helping you out. All you can blame is yourselves for this. And I am just going to enjoy this. And when you lose in that tournament, let's just say, I'm going to have something special for you. And it's going to be a fun experience. And just trust me, it's going to be a fun experience. Till then, that's something I'll drink to. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to cover pretty much a full debriefing of the NFL. We're going to go back and look at the standings, look at the predictions, the preseason predictions of my old preseason predictions I made in episode 10. And we're going to look at what happened with the NFL this year. And what do we get right and what do we get wrong? So, we're going to do that, and then I'll probably talk about a couple of other subjects. But until then, just sit back and relax. Don't go anywhere, y'all. You're watching episode 20 of the J Money Talks podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be right back. Alright guys, before we get into this next segment, I'm going to help you guys out with a little something that's going to help give you a little boost, especially since we're starting to get out of quarantine, stuff is starting to open up, especially the gyms. Another thing is, one big thing is, you want to help, especially since stuff will probably open back up in the summertime, we're all going to go out, we're all going to have fun, we all want to go to those pool parties, but we want to go in without looking like we spent our time in the quarantine 15. One big thing I recommend is going to the gym. You need a little boost to help you go for the gym, help burn off that quarantine 15. I got you. Check out Final Boss Performance, my friends. Final Boss Performance has a lot of things that will help you out with a lot of things pre-workout and throughout the day. Big thing is greens. We all need to eat our vegetables every day. Sometimes we don't have enough. Sometimes we don't get enough vegetables. Sometimes we need a little something to help supplement it. Well, check out Final Boss Greens. Has broccoli, spinach, powder. It's pretty much green superfood powder, but it is a lot of things and it helps out. What I do, I put a scoop of that in my scoop of it in a Powerade Zero or mix it in with my orange juice in the morning. I drank that thing and I come out looking great. I feel fantastic. I feel a little bit better. Everything I do, either in the morning I do that, or B, I take a scoop. Put in in a Powerade Zero alongside a scoop of Final Boss aminos with caffeine. Also, they have decaf aminos, which I try to add in my gallon of water, and throughout the day. And let me tell you, that helps not only do aminos. Aminos help you out. It has branching amino acids, so it not only helps you out recover from a hard workout, it also helps build that muscle. Look at this. Look at these guns, y'all. And it also helps with recovery and everything. So, and of course another thing is there's that. And then you got to use another thing that's like, okay, I do want to go work out, but man, I just need something to get me a little pick me up, you know? Well, hey, they got Final Boss Free, my friends. Let me tell you, I take a scoop of this thing, I feel like a dang Super Saiyan. I feel that power, especially when I wear my Vegeta costume, when I wear my Vegeta shirt, put on my Vegeta shirt and pants on. I feel that energy, that power. It's pretty much like a Kaioken boost. You are ready to burn. You ready to clang and bang. You pretty much get in. You get those pumps in your muscles. You feel good. You get that extra energy. You feel extra pumps in your biceps. You feel like you can go harder and more into this workout. And everything is, I'm probably sure this was not their intention, but it does. This is something that probably helps out. But if you have a chance to find a nice honey, and you either bring back to your place or you go back to her place, and you have a little body cardio session. Let me just say that, let's just say the pre-workout can help you out not just with you in general, but also can help you out with little you as well, because it increases nitric oxide, which is actually supposed to help with getting extra pumps in your muscles, but it also helps out little you because there is some research that it does some stuff with your erection. So let's just say this. So let's just say that thing helps you, it can also help out you downstairs as well. So little you downstairs. So check out Final Boss Performance. They got plenty of goods from the aminos, the pre-workout. They got the greens. They also have their own protein powder. They have protein powder, their own protein powder, which I'm gonna get my own very soon. But I actually got a ton of protein myself. I need to use up very, very soon. So bear with me there. And they're about to come out with some protein bars very soon, which as soon as they drop, I'm gonna do a review for the channel for y'all, see what I think about them. Anyways, check them out, Final Boss Performance, and go also check out they also got apparel of their own, Final Boss Athletics, which I know as soon as it started getting warm up, I might start wearing the tank top myself. Start wearing some tank tops myself. Start wearing a couple of their other clothing as well. Try them out myself and do my thing. So check them all out. Final Boss Athletics and FinalBossPerformance.com. Check both of them out, y'all. And if they ask where I heard from you, tell them your boy Big J Money sent you. I got you. Anyways, let's get back to the show, baby. Okay, we're up. Alright, we're up. Okay, everybody, welcome back to episode number 20 of the J Money Talks podcast. Now, we're going into pretty much the biggest thing, and that is the basketball, is NFL football. Of course, last week, around this time last week, we witnessed Tom Brady lead the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to not only their first Super Bowl in about 20 years, not only are they, but also win said Super Bowl. It's the 20th Super Bowl. Win that Super Bowl. And Tom Brady wins his 7th championship. Wins his 7th Super Bowl. 5th overall. 5th championship overall. He is, I think, his 5th MVP trophy. I think he's won his 5th Super Bowl MVP. Yeah. Okay, when I made my preseason predictions back in background when we did episode 10 prior season, I actually did have the Buccaneers as the 5th seed. So I was right on that. I'm on the teams that I picked in this playoff. I actually got the AFC almost right. I got the Chiefs right, Ravens right, Titans right, Bills right, and the Browns. Only teams I've fought in the AFC would make it was going to be the Patriots and the Chargers. Well, the Patriots, I thought the Patriots would win the AFC East. Well, the Bills decided to take that AFC crown from Patriots, and not only did the Bills take that crown from the Patriots, they pretty much told them straight up, we ran this league, pretty much ran that division. And all I'm gonna say is that I thought the Chargers would make it, but somehow they kept losing out on these close games, choking away games they should have won handedly, but kept choking them repeatedly. So, unfortunately, unfortunately, Steelers. Steelers actually end up making the playoffs. In fact, winning the division and started off 11-0. 11-0. So, yeah, there's a lot of things in this AFC. I have stuff on a lot of things. Thought some teams would make it in. I knew some teams would make it in. I thought some teams wouldn't make it in. I think the Colts would make it in the playoffs. But they did. They actually were the 6th seed. I think actually the Browns were the 6th seed. My apologies. I'm bugging there. NFC. I honestly thought the NFC. I had Saints as number 1. They ended up being number 2, I think. Number 2 or number 3. Number 3. Seahawks, I got right. The Cowboys win the NFC East. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. It ended up being the Washington football team. Vikings. I actually thought the Vikings would have won the NFC North over the Packers, but Packers won. Vikings were not in the playoffs. So, I've had Buccaneers being the 5th seed. Yes, so I had 4 teams. Packers were a 6th seed, but became the number 1 seed. And then you have Cardinals. That I had the Cardinals as the 7th seed. Instead, it became the Bears. So, I actually had 5 teams in the AFC right. And 4 of the NFC seeds right. Now, my thought process is who I thought was going to Super Bowl. I thought we were going to see the Chiefs and probably Saints or Packers. And it turns out I got the Chiefs right. But I got the Packers wrong. Well, I almost had it right, but the Buccaneers end up winning. And Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl. My thought process is Tom Brady winning it. At this point in time, if you're a football fan, you just gotta accept the fact that Tom Brady maybe is the GOAT. Period. End of story. Tom Brady is the GOAT. and there's not much we can say about it. In terms of the sport, of football, the GOAT of GOATs in terms of all sports. I mean, that's a questionable one. I mean, I say Michael Jordan is better than him a bit because of 6, but now people want to say, like, well, he's won 7 championships. He's been in the playoffs 10 times. He's been in the Super Bowl 10 times. This is his 10th appearance in the Super Bowl. He's won 7 of them. He's gotten more Super Bowl MVPs. He's gotten all kinds of championships and whatnot. So at this point, all of the accolades, I will say this, he is the GOAT. Brady is the GOAT. I hate the fact that I want to call him the GOAT in terms of football and all this shiz, but goddamn it, you gotta give the devil his due. If the devil is due, Tom Brady is GOAT. Gronk, he wins his 4th championship, wins his 4th Super Bowl. Mike Evans finally gets a Super Bowl ring. He gets more, right? You got Scotty Miller. He wins the Super Bowl. Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. Now comes Lombardi Lenny now, which I think it was what he called himself. And then finally you have Antonio Brown, who has done everything wrong. He now has a Super Bowl. My thought about Antonio Brown winning this is like, this man did everything in his power to get out of Pittsburgh. He did so many ridiculous things to get himself out of Oakland to go to New England with Brady. He gets hit with domestic violence allegations. No, sexual assault allegations. And he pretty much decided, he made text messages. Dumb text messages. And he did a bunch of other stuff, throwing rocks at UPS drivers, throwing a bag of dicks at the cops and his baby moms, and all this dumb shits. All the dumb shits. He gets a Super Bowl ring, and you got wide receivers like Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Steve Smith, Terrell Owens, who don't have a ring, but Antonio Brown actually has a ring. It's a shame, man. It's honestly a dang shame. I feel bad for it. I didn't really want to cheat. I didn't really have much of a dog in this fight, but I rather would have had the Chiefs win this game. Chiefs win that game. But that game, I felt bad for Chiefs. Chiefs actually played bad. That was an interesting game. One of the things is Patrick Mahomes did not perform the way he usually does. I mean, some cases you got turf toe. He had his issues with turf toe. His offensive line, pretty much 2 of his main offensive linemen ended up getting injured before the Super Bowl. And that game, he could not do anything. He tried everything he can to throw this football. And the passes that should have been caught were not caught. Like, Tyreek Hill should have caught in some passes. Travis Kelce should have had some passes given. I mean, errors, catches that should have been caught, but weren't able to. And it's unfortunate. I mean, do I think Le'Veon Bell should have had a Super Bowl? I think so. And I think it should also Le'Veon Bell. My thing about Le'Veon Bell is, like, do I have anything about him? Well, he wanted guaranteed money from Steelers. Steelers weren't giving it to him. So he pretty much held out. He held out for a season. pursued his rap career or whatever hell, and wanted that guarantee money. Jets didn't do anything with him. So I mean, he was at least a lesser of evils in that case. But man, I don't know how to feel. My thoughts about the season so far. It was an interesting season. I felt like the Ravens actually held it. I thought the Ravens would have had a chance to compete in that AFC title game. I don't know how we would have done against Kansas City Arrowhead. I think we may have still got blown out, but hey, the fact we made the AFC title game, my best thing I love about it is Lamar finally won a playoff game. And it was against Tennessee. And I say that was probably my best. That was the best thing about that year was pretty much the Ravens beating Tennessee, finally getting revenge from last year's playoff loss, and the loss to Tennessee in overtime in November. And especially getting the stomping on that logo was probably the best way of letting them know, if you're going to disrespect the Ravens, don't be surprised we disrespect you back. We come back with that disrespect. And they're like, that was what you got. That's what the Tennessee got in that game. And they deserved it. They really deserved it. Browns, congratulations on making you to your first playoff game, coming back to the playoffs first time in years. And embarrassing the Steelers that way was just was so hilariously so hilarious. I laugh at how that game went, and I'm just like watching this. I'm like, oh, thank goodness the hub is not the same, because if the hub was itself, ooh, AFC North would have had endless spank bank material for a while, laughing at this shit, enjoying laughing at this, the misery of the Steelers. I was enjoying. I say the Steelers is done. I think the Steelers are probably not going to be compete for the division anytime soon. They're not going to bottom out completely. I mean, they still got the Bengals going to be bottom out, but they're going to be chilling like where the Browns are now. And that's now they're like the Browns. Now the torch has been passed back. It's like the torch has been officially passed. The new factory of Sanders is now going to be residing in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Cleveland is going to be back. I think Cleveland's back. I think they finally got a franchise QB in Baker Mayfield. I think they got for team. The coach, they got a team that has structure, a team that looks like it's going to get better, but who knows? Ravens, my thing is we're gonna need a new wide receiver one. New wide receiver one. Like, I think we need a veteran need to get a veteran, either wide receiver. I say right now, a couple of free agents is Kenny Galladay for the Detroit Lions. Another one is Allen Robinson for the Chicago Bears. One thing that could be interesting is someone like T.Y. Hilton. He's actually a free agent as well. I'd love to see if we can get him. That's something I think would work best, because I think him as a beginning receiver can create space and separation for Hollywood to excel in, and I think that would help out a lot for Ravens. If someone like that who can create space for Hollywood to make some of the big back passes, which allow him to get his speed, help with his speed, and I think that would help out a lot, and a bunch more. And yeah, that's the plan. For Ravens, I think we have a running game now. We just need to figure out a way of building a pass rush, and that's something that we're gonna have to look at. A one-eyed possible idea is looking into. Looks like J.J. Watt is actually J.J. Watt might be that person, because if you don't know, Houston Texans pretty much is self-destructing its franchise because one of the big things is they started off 0-4. The Texans started off 0-4. Fired head coach and GM Bill O'Brien after pretty much trading away Nuke Hopkins, after trading away DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals. That did not work out. The Texans end their season, I believe, on a 4-12 record. I believe on a 4-12 record. I believe. Let me see. It is, I think, a 4-12 record. I believe. Yes, it is a 4-12 record. Their first round pick for this upcoming draft, is not going to be in any part of. It's not going to be on. It's going to be all with the Dolphins, Miami Dolphins. As you do that, everything is next. You have pretty much Deshaun Watson is now requesting to be traded to. Is now requesting to be traded to the trade somewhere, because it happened is, as the Texans were looking to hire a new GM and a new head coach, the owner, Bob McNair, told Sean, "Hey, we're gonna have your input on sign who the coach should be." Among one of the coaches that Deshaun Watson wanted to hire was the offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs, who is Eric Bieniemy, who is honestly a coach should have a job who should be a head coach in the NFL at this point. Especially these positions that were taken. I'm surprised they never gave a call to Bieniemy. Especially like when seeing how the Chiefs are doing right now. They made the back-to-back Super Bowls. They practically have Patrick Mahomes, a person who's going to be an MVP candidate almost every single year. And they just never thought of giving this man an interview. And what happened is McNair pretty much hired a new GM in Nick Caserio, who is an executive for the New England Patriots. And did they give Sean any input on who should be GM? The answer is no. And they hire their coach. I think the coach for the Texans, new coach, is, I believe, they made a coaching hire. I can't remember what the name is. Who is now? Let me search this. Their new head coach is... Coach. I'm trying to figure out the coach of the Houston Texans. It's not it. Yeah, here it is. Let's see. David Coley, who is actually a former Ravens assistant. Who is actually our passing game. Who was, in fact, our passing game coordinator. And if you don't know what our passing game coordinator, how our passing game looked like at any way, shape, looked like. If you're wondering what did our passing game look like, ours was dead last in the league. So yeah, let's just say Deshaun Watson wasn't happy about this. Like, and he's just like, bruh, I know I have a no trade clause in this contract, but damn it, I'm getting the fuck out. This team is number one this is some bullshit. He was ready to leave. He wanted to leave. Deshaun Watson is gone. Did they trade him or did they try trading him? I think they will trade him, but I think it will be by the time we do it, it's going to end. It's probably going to end by possibly by draft time. I say sometime in the draft, we will see a trade between Deshaun with the Texans and some other team for Deshaun Watson and some picks. It's going to be some crazy trade where it has to be some crazy trade right now because of crazy trade. And I think what it's need is probably two free first round picks. Something crazy with some team for this trade. It's because I think there is going to be a president that's been set already when the LA Rams traded for Matthew Stafford in exchange to Jared Goff. The Detroit Lions traded Matthew Stafford, their long-term quarterback for the past, I believe, 13 years, to the LA Rams in exchange for Jared Goff and a first round. And Rams gave him their first round pick for him. And their first round pick. So that means if you're a Texas fan, you are going to have to get, and I think maybe two more players, but overall, my thoughts about Sean Watson is like, bruh, I don't know who you going to. I already know they're not going to trade you anytime soon. They're going to make you play. I'm not going to say he holds out. I don't say he holds out on it. I think, in his opinion, I say this, I think he's not going to show up to any voluntary workouts. I think the man is probably going to hold out in training camp. I don't know if he's going to hold out on training camp. I don't know if he'll do something for training camp, like hold out or just show up to training camp as late as possible. And very late as possible. I don't know how this is going to work out for this year. And a lot of people are not going to take the contract that he has, especially the year we're having. The cap that's going to be, salary cap that we have is going to be as big because there was not as much of a live gate because of not much of a live gate. So it's going to be it's for a lot of people, even if they needed a quarterback of Deshaun Watson's talent, not a lot of people want to risk taking that cap crunch. So that is something that's going to happen. That's going to be something interesting as months go by. Next, we actually now have then as one face of the offense. The face of the offense pretty much is one's out of Texas, out of Houston. We have the defensive face of the franchise pretty much getting released by the Texans. That's right. J.J. Watt, he actually is leaving Houston, the Houston Texans, a team that he was drafted in for a while. I believe he has been in the J.J. Watt. He has been with the team since 2011. Oh, he's been around since 2011. Okay. Since 2011. And among the teams that want him in this league, among the teams that want him, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers, Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, the Ravens, Baltimore Ravens, and I believe a dozen teams. Green Bay has interest in them. Green Bay has interest in them, and I think a lot more others. I don't know what it is going to be. I don't know who is going to be who will get our man Sean Watson, but it is LA Rams. I think LA Rams is on the group. Basically, a lot of teams is looking to get him. He has won 3 NFL Defensive Player of the Year awards. He is a multi-time All-Pro defensive, and he is probably he is one of the biggest defensive players. Also, other teams among them is the Buffalo Bills, Tennessee, and the Tennessee Titans. The most likely, who do I think that J.J. Watt will most likely go to? I would not be surprised that J.J. Watt goes to Pittsburgh. Because 2 very big reasons. His younger brothers both play for the Steelers. You got T.J. Watt, who should be a back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year in this last year and this year, but was snubbed by Aaron Donald. And then you got Derek Watt, who is a fullback for the Steelers. And both of them pretty much were both, especially TJ himself, pretty much took to Twitter after Watt announced his release Friday, telling his big brother, come on down to Pittsburgh, brother. Come on down to Pittsburgh, aka Blitzburg. And he is a great pass rusher, who I think should be a part of that team. And I think it's a lot of things. Who is next? One of a few teams left. I think there's a lot of teams, a lot of fan bases. Want them. It is interesting. I say it's the Steelers is the biggest. Is going to be the one that's going to go after him the most. And then the Browns, I think he could go. I would love for him to be a Raven. I would be surprised if he's a Raven. If he becomes if Eric DeCosta makes a move and gets him to Baltimore, I'm saying this: you don't be surprised if your boy buys a J.J. Watt shirt, jersey as. As that deal happens, I'm going to buy a J.J. Watt jersey as soon as possible. And that's a big... And if that happens, let's just say, I think that front 7 is dangerous. Because then you got... Because then you got... Because that would be a big thing. And then you got to consider the fact of... Then you got to consider the fact of Judon. Will he be back? And then... We get rid of Judon and we'll release Judon and bring in J.J. Watt, or do we remove Yannick Ngakoue to make a contract for him? There's a lot of factors there, Ravens. I don't know what's going to happen, but J.J. Watt's a big name. It's going to be in a free agency, and NFL free agency is going to be interesting, especially QBs. Especially in terms of QBs, there's a lot of interest somehow. Like Sam Darnold for the Jets. Somehow the 49ers have interest in bringing him in. So there's a chance Sean Watson could go to New York. There's somehow reports that somehow Texans and Dolphins could make a trade for him. Like the Texans trade for Tua, which I kind of don't believe that's the case. It's a weird situation. Like you just tanked for Tua Tagovailoa. You're going to give him the Josh Rosen treatment and trade him to another team after one season. That sounds ridiculous. There's a lot of things. I think there's a lot of factors for a lot of teams involved, and we just gotta see what happens next. What happens this season? There's a lot of things involved. I think there's a lot of factors in this season. This free agency is going to be an interesting time. interesting time and a lot of factors. So let's we got till March. We got a month or two before stuff happens, before stuff comes through. So until that time, we wait. We sit back and we wait. My hope is we get a good wide receiver. I say my thing is I hope Ravens get a good wide receiver. We make some good deals, keep some of the defense in, keep the defense. If we can bring JJ Watt, if there's a way of bringing JJ Watt in without sacrificing a player or two, with sacrificing a player or two, then hey, if JJ Watt comes here, hey, that's I say this. That front seven plus that secondary, that defense is stacked to the brim with players, and I would be excited if that is the case because, let's just say the return of that Ravens defense of old is going to be big. The automatic lock down. All that's left is in the offense. Speaking of offense, our Orlando Brown Jr. Is requesting a trade as he pretty much only wants to play left tackle. And one of the big things to the Ravens made a big extension to Ronnie Stanley. Now, Ronnie Stanley did get injured, and Orlando Brown played his spot as a left tackle, and he did well, pretty well. But that is pretty much Ronnie Stanley's position. I don't know why Orlando Brown can't try any other position, but it looks like that's going to be a big thing. It looks like Russell Wilson, he says that he is kind of upset at Seahawks for, hey, y'all ain't building an offensive line for me to keep me in this pocket. I'm getting sacked constantly. I get it. I can run around. I can move. I can scramble. But, man, I'm being sacked too often. I can't run around all the time forever. So, y'all need to build an offensive line for me. Well, let's just say this. Russell, I think the Ravens can help you out, my friend. We got a young offensive tackle that wants to play out left tackle. I think you guys need a left tackle. I think we can benefit. We just need is a first round pick, a 4th round pick, and I believe a 6th round pick, which I've heard in some rumors that is the trade package that I think that Eric DeCosta is making to any teams. Hey, you guys want this offensive tackle? Give us a 1st round pick, a 4th round pick, and a 6th round pick. We got you. So yeah, that's a lot. There's some trades that's going to be making. There's going to be some trades happening around draft time. I think it's going to be happening around draft time, and I think it's going to be interesting how this season goes for how the offseason looks like for a lot of teams. And we just wait. Right now, we wait for those moves to happen. Till then, we just focus. All right. Let's move on from NFL to NBA right now. Top team in the Western Conference is right now the Utah Jazz, who is being led by pretty much Louisville alumni Donovan Mitchell. They have the number 1 record in the conference with a 22-5 record. Lakers not that far behind with a 21-6 record. Then you got LA Clippers with the 3rd seed, the Phoenix Suns with the 4th seed. Then you got the Portland Trailblazers for the 5th seed. Then you got the Spurs, who is sitting as the 6th seed. Next, you have the Denver Nuggets at the 7th seed, and the 8th seed is the Golden State Warriors, 14-13 record. In the East, you got the Philadelphia 76ers with an 18-9 record overall. The Milwaukee Bucks with a 16-11 record as the 2nd seed. 3rd seed is the Brooklyn Nets with 16-2. The 4th seed is the Indiana Pacers with a 14-13 record. Then you got the Boston Celtics with a 13-13 record. Then you got the Charlotte Hornets coming in with the 13-15 record. And then you got the New York Knicks with a 13-15 record, and then you got Toronto with rounding out the 8th seed with a 12-15 record. So far, it is interesting right now. Right now, time of this recording, my Spurs beat the Charlotte Hornets 122 to 110. 110. See, what is the big moves that have happened was pretty much is right now we have the Derrick Rose getting traded to the New York Knicks. Russell Westbrook is with the Washington Wizards. LaMelo Ball is pretty much balling out, looking like the rookie of the year right now. Steph Curry is pretty much shooting like 40 points a game. Just practically just letting I guess the entire league know, hey, if y'all thought I was finished, nah, not today. Ooh, it appears that AD may have injured his Achilles tendon, which is very, very bad. If that is the case, that may be the end of Anthony Davis' season. Which is really unfortunate. Which is very ever unfortunate how they're going to play without him on that team. So it is looking kind of scary. So if you're a Lakers fan, this might be a tough time. Who knows if that is, can the Lakers repeat without Anthony Davis? So that's going to be a big question. Can the Lakers repeat? It might be a little tougher, but who knows? It's Lakers is Lakers, and who knows how LeBron is. So let's hope for LA's sake. The big thing is right now that the Porzingis trade for Knicks made to build Porzingis for with the Mavericks back a couple of years ago is now starting to look like it's benefiting for them, because right now the Knicks are 7th seed and the Mavs are actually like the as I look at this again, the Mavs have I believe the Mavericks currently are ranked 17th in the league right now. And their first round pick is the Knicks right now. So, and they have one of the worst, and it can be a lottery pick. And the chances are that pick is a lottery pick. Is very, very, very interesting, to say the least. So it looks like, when we heard about this trade being made, a lot of people in the Knicks are like, what in the hell? Why would you trade him? And now the Knicks are pretty much, Knicks fans are probably like, oh, we have a chance of having a good pick. And our team is not playing like shit this year. For right now. Well, this might be pretty good. What are my thoughts about this situation? I don't know. I have not followed much about NBA much. Especially, I don't follow NBA as much as I used to. My thing is, the Spurs are looking pretty good right now. They're actually they're pretty much a 6 seed, which is something. I mean, do I expect them to really make much of an effort in the playoffs? I don't know. I think the big thing is Marcus Aldridge ain't really doing nothing. I think. I think Marcus Aldridge probably could get. I say that Marcus Aldridge could get traded. I think he should be traded, honestly. Honestly. DeJounte Murray having 26 points and 12 rebounds. That is impressive. It's actually pretty impressive. What did it... Yeah, I don't think... Yeah, okay, so... Marcus Aldridge, like, injured? What the heck? Guess it's not Sean Murray. I guess Marcus Aldridge injured now? Oh, here it is. News. What's this? Let's see. He is... He has not played since February at first, so I'm like, what happened? Is he like shut down for a year, or what's going on? Well, he's active, but is he like injured? Hold on, I'm trying to figure out why am I not seeing anything from him. Is he just... Because I think he's on the roster, but he hasn't played any games. So I'm wondering, is he like injured? Or is he like out? Is he like... What is going on? Because I think to me, I feel like Marcus Aldridge should be traded. I said this. If AD's out with an Achilles injury, I'm like, hey... Spurs would be like, hey, LA, you guys need a big man? Hey, we got this 40-year-old big man we ain't using. So, you want him? Yeah, just give... What do you want? Second round pick or whatever. I say a second round pick. Box of cookies. Which... My thing about Aldridge, here's the thing, I'm just saying this. You're like 6'11". You're like 6'11". And you're a big man. You're a center. You're a big man. I get it. If your shots ain't gonna hit, I get it. But man, why aren't you trying to get more rebounds? Try to get more rebounds. Like more than like you can get like should get like 5 to 6 rebounds a game at least. And I think what I saw earlier was like 4. Like you gets 4 rebounds a game. I'm like, what? Like seriously. Like, his stats is 4.3 rebounds a game. Bruh, you can make at least 5, maybe 6 rebounds a game. Like, your career, you've averaged 8.3 rebounds a game. Bruh, you can average, like, 3 or 4, 5 rebounds, more than 4 rebounds a game. Like, can you at least... I'm like, bruh. Bruh, how are you this... That's just me. I'm just like, I don't even think he's playing. I don't know if he's playing. I don't know if he's like injured or what. Whatever. I'm like, let's just say he might be going. There's actually reports that he's. So I guess he's okay. So he's injured. Is he injured? Or is he okay? There's a chance that he actually could be traded on the deadline, and he's recovering from an injured hip. So okay, so he's injured. He has an injured hip. So I just say this. Personally, for me, I think he needs. He needs a. I think if he's going to the Mavs, if the Spurs and Mavs are going to make a trade, I hope he is. I think he should go. Should go. He should go. And actually, and I think they got. I think they actually have a better. And I think he has a better. I think he's better. Better team for the. I think he is a better team. I think he's better for the Mavericks. I think it helps them out a lot, especially in terms of front court, in terms of big man. So I think it's good. I think he's gonna go to the. I think he'll go to the Mavs. All right, I think that's about it, guys. We have not talked about a lot. So that's the best we can get up. Right, that's a good. I think this is it for this episode of the podcast. It's episode 20. We'll be back next week. I'm planning on trying to get the podcast, do these episodes probably every Monday. I think that's the best schedule. It's getting them out every Monday. Time, I say, I want this to be at least noon. Try to get this episode out every episode at noon. Noon, it's easier, especially noon. I say noon time because especially when we're having lunch, especially during lunchtime, you sit back, relax, have a cold one, have a nice lunch. Something you watch while you're having lunch, and when you're driving back at work, and then you're actually trying to trying to get through that mid-afternoon rush, all that stuff. And yeah, some of the stuff I don't have a lot of topics. Talk about a lot of topics. I guess we'll end it on this. Don't put Gorilla Glue in your hair, just like that idiot woman who actually put Gorilla Glue in her hair. Don't do that. That is stupid. Yeah, and I don't know how. Isn't me. I've never heard much about that Gorilla Glue girl. My thing about her is she's a fucking idiot. And the fact that she got 20 grand and somehow they did this operation to remove the glue out of her hair and they did it for free. That is some bullshit. I think she should have to pay every dime. No free operations. There are people who have cancer that's struggling right now and who should get free operations, not this dumb idiot. And I'm just like, people like this should not. I don't know how they exist in our world, but some of them need to go. Just like some of the senators and congressmen who pretty much believed that Trump was innocent in his role in the insurrection. So, yeah, all of them need to all go. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode of the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Episode. We'll be back next week. So until then, my friends, thank you guys very much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and hit that heart notification. Hit that heart. Share this around. Let everyone know about this podcast. Give them some big J money in their lives. They need it. And most importantly, follow the SoundCloud channel. And, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. I really want to get some subscribers, man. I am trying to make this podcast pop. I'm not just making podcast episodes, but I'm also going to try to add content to the YouTube channel. I plan on at least add more videos. I actually did especially. In fact, I actually did a video last week on the channel about me watching this one anime called Redo of Healer, which is probably anime that has probably so controversial that it's probably worse than, it's pretty much more controversial than like Goblin Slayer, more controversial than Interspecies Rears, more controversial than Shield Hero, all the stuff going on there. It's practically off-brand, but somehow they found a way of greenlighting this into an actual anime. Don't know how, don't know why, but it's actually funny. I actually did like full breakdown, did watch all for the first 4 episodes, did everyone break piece by piece, and I actually enjoyed. And it's an interesting show. In terms of like for quality of animation, saying most scenes it's kind of mid. So those off-brand scenes were actually hidden, and let me just say it was an interesting experience. I will say you that much. So I'm gonna go ahead and give that a watch right now. Give that a watch. Enjoy it. That came out just recently, a couple days ago. So till then, I am actually going to do more reactions to episodes. Actually, I'm actually going to try to do one of episode 5. Probably depends on how it looks outside tomorrow. Probably go out and do workout. So hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode. Make sure to leave a like, share this around to everybody, and most importantly, follow the SoundCloud channel and the YouTube channel, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell so that way you get so that way when I post that new upload, you get that, it's time to watch, my friends. So until then, my friends, don't forget to leave a like, share this around everybody. If you got any ideas if you guys want to hear about any topics I should follow, hit me up on my social media down below, and leave a comment in the videos for me to see. And don't forget to subscribe for more of me. And the next video will be money. So until then, my friends, goodbye and good night.